Are we rolling? Yes, we are. What's up, guys? It's your boy McKinley Crain here, and today I'm going to be doing my spoiler-free movie review of the movie that I just recently saw, earlier this evening. The movie that I got a chance to see early before it was officially released in this country, aka the United States. I got a chance to see it early, and I did. And that movie, this movie, is Monster Hunter. So, Monster Hunter is a 2020 horror comedy action movie that stars Mila Jovovich as Sergeant Natalie Artemis, who is a military sergeant, obviously, who's with her squad, and then she basically gets caught in a storm in a desert and gets teleported to a different world. Whether that world is a parallel dimension or I'm pretty sure it's just a parallel dimension or just a hidden world in the same universe. That's never explained. Well, who cares? It didn't need to be. So basically, she's transported there to where all the monsters are, and she has to basically figure out how to stop the monsters, how to slay the monsters, and how to get home safely. And along the way, she meets the Hunter, who is played by Tony Jaa. I think his last name would actually be pronounced Ya. So, she meets the Hunter, who is played by Tony Jaa. And she teams up with him, and so together they try to slay the monsters. Hunt the monsters and find a way for her to get home, and also find a way for him to get home to his family. Anyway, this movie exceeded my expectations. I expected it to be good, but not great. But it was great. It's not perfect, though. It's not a perfect movie, but it is a great movie. It's one of the better video game movies. It basically, what I like about it is it does its own thing. It tries to be its own thing, but it also lives up to the source material. The source material that it was based on. There are a whole bunch of references and stuff like that. I am familiar with this source material. I play one of the Monster Hunter games. I own one. I own Monster Hunter Generations. I got it a couple years ago. I've been playing it ever since. I haven't beaten it because I've gotten stuck, but it's been pretty enjoyable so far. Anyway, and yeah, it lives up to its source material, and while also trying to be its own thing. And it was great. And by the way, in case you're wondering, yes, I did see the uncut film with I did see the uncut version of the film with the line of dialogue, the controversial line of dialogue still in there. Um, yeah, I saw that before it got cut. I mean, they're planning on cutting that line of dialogue out of like most of the movies that most of the copies of this film that they're going to be showing in the United States, which is where I live. So yeah, I got to see I got to see the uncut version of the film before it got cut. Anyway, I loved this movie, and it was really surprising. It was just, like a lot of the stuff in here is surprising. Was surprising to me. Like, I didn't expect there to be, like, references, not references, but, like, similarities to, like, Jurassic Park and Alien. Like, it's just, there are, like, a few scenes in here that are, like, really intense and really dark and almost, like, horror movie-like intense. I'm just like, am I sure I'm even watching an action movie here? Or is this a horror movie? It's got like a few horror themes in there. And, actually, like, these really intense scenes were my favorite parts of the movie, actually. They were the best parts. This movie is also very lighthearted. It's got a lot of comedy in it, even though it's an action movie. It's a horror comedy action. And the comedy in this movie works. It works. Like the comedy, like between. I love I love the comedy between. The two main characters, Sergeant Artemis and the Hunter. The comedy in this movie is just great. I love, I mean, what I mean is that, the comedy in this movie is between, Sergeant Artemis and the Hunter. And, yeah, so that's where, all the comedy is in this movie. And it works. Like, the comedy between them is great. The chemistry between them is, great. And the comedic exchanges between the characters are great. Oh, and did I mention that the Hunter can't even understand, doesn't even speak English? He can understand a little bit of it, but he can't really speak English, and so basically, these characters don't really know what each other are saying for most of the movie, but they still communicate so well with each other. It's like their communication is and their lines of dialogue are so cleverly written and so fun. So and often hilarious. I really love this movie. As far as special effects and CGI go, the special effects for the monsters in this movie are actually pretty great. Um, and the action scenes are pretty great too. Um, this movie's filled with action. Well, duh, it's an action movie, but it is filled with a lot of action, and I love that. It's just a really good movie. It's a great movie, and it it exceeded my expectations. It's a great movie. Is it in my top 10 best movies of 2020? No, it's maybe in my top 20 though. Anyway, I I would definitely recommend this film. And I know if you look it up now, it has like a 5.3 out of 10 on IMDb. Well, I'm going to tell you now. Don't really take that like seriously, because I can guarantee you that most of those reviews on IMDb are just trolls. They're like troll reviews. It's just people who haven't even seen the movie are just getting on there and just basically just writing up some like BS review, BS negative review, and just flat out just putting it there and like, having it affect the IMDb score. Oh, and if you don't believe me, seriously, it's, IMDb trolls are a thing. I remember when I looked up the movie Joker about 11 months before it came out. There were a whole bunch of trolls on like IMDb there were so many trolls on there who had like actually written reviews for a movie that wasn't even finished filming yet, that it actually generated a score, and the score was like 5.3 and like 5.3 out of 10, like somewhere around there. And these people hadn't even seen the movie yet. And then all of a sudden, when these people did see the movie, it rocketed up to like a 9 out of 10, because they actually realized, oh, we were wrong, this movie is actually good. And then and then it went down to like an 8.7 or something. I can't remember. But yeah, so basically there's all the proof you need to know that there are a lot of trolls on IMDb. So yeah, take that 5.3 out of 10 with a grain of salt. Actually, just don't take it seriously. Oh, and by the way, so back to like the example of like trolls on IMDb with the Joker movie. Yeah, we all saw that film. Well, most of us. Pretty much, most of us who saw the film, like me, and loved it, yeah, we can all tell that those were just trolls, because everybody loved that movie. Well, most everybody loved that movie. So yeah, like I said, take Monster Hunter's current IMDb score with a grain of salt. Just don't take it seriously at all. Anyway, like I said, this movie isn't perfect, but it's still a great movie. And it has a great ending, and the ending is logical, and like it's logically justified. It's like you can just think in your head like, yeah, that is the way it should have ended. This movie should have ended. It's the most like fulfilling and logical ending you could give this movie, and I love this movie. Oh, and by the way, the reasons why there are so many like trolls on IMDb right now giving this movie a negative review even though they haven't seen it is because it's a video game movie. And video game movies are often trash, but some aren't. Some are actually pretty good, and this one is one of those movies. This movie was great. I enjoyed it. So funny thing, I heard about this movie years ago, like back in 2017, late 2017. This movie has had like an Instagram profile like for a while, and I found it on Instagram when I was just scrolling one day. It was like a couple days or like maybe a week after I actually got this game, and just looked at Monster Hunter, I think, and I didn't know whether it was real or not. I was just like, are they actually making a Monster Hunter movie? Or is this, like, fake? And then, like, over time, I started to see, like, more proof and more evidence that it was real, and, like, you know, anyway, so I've been waiting for this movie for years. And, it exceeded my expectations. And it's great, and it's definitely worth a watch. And I'm going to give this movie an 86% out of 100%, which is the equivalent of an A-. Like, subscribe, join the notification squad, I will return. Oh, and one last thing. Tell me if you've seen the movie. Tell me down below in the comments what you thought of it. Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you have mixed feelings about it? Did you mildly dislike it? What did you think? Tell me down below. Anyway, like I said, like, subscribe, join the notification squad. I will return.